Worn out from hunting, need a break after a hard day? Well, fear not. The baths of Minato are here for you. And seriously, we'll put anything in them. No questions asked.
Anyway.
Hello, my fellow hunters! How are you all enjoying Wild Hearts? I hope the answer is along the lines of very muchly, but there is a lot hidden beneath the surface of this game, and a lot, admittedly, that it either just kinda doesn't tell you, or doesn't do the best job of tell you. Like, did you know you can permanently increase the maximum health of your hunters? You can take more hits just forever? You might have done if you really dug deep into the game's menus, but I also imagine a few of you might be going, wait, what? How? And it's those kind of tips that we're going to focus on today. 5 very useful tips and tricks that you might not think about, notice, or do that will massively help you out and just generally make the game that much better. First and foremost, tsukumos, your little orbs of helpful friendliness that you can really get stuck into. You want to find them in the wild. There's 50 on each of the maps, and finding them gives you cogs. Cogs is what lets you upgrade them. Let's ignore the helpfulness that they are when you're solo hunting. What upgrading them will do is every couple levels increase the maximum Karakuri thread you can hold, and therefore start the hunt with up to 24. Which is obviously massive, and like almost getting a free hunter's arm to begin every fight with, which is incredibly potent. Find the tsukumo, upgrade yours, and reap the rewards. And not only will we have a full guide dedicated to just tsukumo, the finding of them, how they work, and all the hidden mechanics and secrets to do with them, a little bit later on in this video, I will show you a way to easily track them all down. Now let's go to, well, the side quests in the game. These you'll have definitely seen, of course, the little tasks the NPCs give you. You get notified when there's new ones to pick up, and they all have a little bit of story to them. So outside of, hey, just don't ignore them, even though it's tempting to just power through to the end of the game, because they're oftentimes interesting, and more excuse to hunt is always good, but of course there is a reason to do them all, and that's the reward that you get for doing them all. Of course, it's varied across them, but what's consistent is it's very useful, and a large amount of them give you a lot of gold. Now, you might not think that gold is that useful, as a lot of things don't cost that much, and you get quite the flow of it in from hunting Kemono and selling there just to sell parts, but when you get to the end game and start wanting to craft your perfect weapon and spider webbing around the tree, you'll end up having to spend 50 to like 100,000 on your ideal creation, which is obviously going to hit the old purse strings. So definitely do your side quests as you progress, and you'll find yourself in a much better position come the end game. Then let's talk, well, further on making sure you have what you need to craft the perfect armor of weapons, and a large part of that will be ore. Ore will be a big wall when you first start mass going through the tree, and running around gathering it on each map is a massive pain. So as a nice little thing to do, unlock the shrine for generating resources of the ore variety from the Karakuri tree, and then place this tsukumo shrine as many times over on each of the maps at your main camp. It costs a dragon pit resource that isn't really competing with that many useful dragon Karakuri, so you can have a fairly large amount of them without having to choose it over anything else. What these will do is slowly farm ore for you. Come back every 10 to 20 minutes or so, they'll have 5 there, and it is 5 random ore from that map's pool. If you're in chapter 1 and 2, well, from chapter 1 and 2. If you're in 3 and 4, from 3 and 4. This way you don't have to farm ore, and you'll just get mass amounts of it pouring in with very little effort. Just check your shrines every time you go hunting. Now then, let's return and get sudsy in Minato, shall we? The bathhouse you will unlock fairly early into the story. You probably have it already if you've been playing a bit, and it's a nice, what feels like flavor element to the town. You can have a little bath, a little cutscene, little themes to them, that's all well and good, and as you go through the game, you'll unlock more and more different types of baths to develop that cost a low amount of specific materials that you can go out and get to make them happen. But outside of the aesthetic change that it applies to the bathhouse, which is amusing, you definitely want to do each of them once, as they will permanently increase your hunter's health across every hunt. +2 per bath. Imagine this as +2 health up skill just forever on your hunter per bath. And +2 health up is almost as good as just a piece of armor with that skill on, so yeah, definitely worthwhile. You'll unlock a handful of baths as you go through towards the end of the game. You can also get another bath from upgrading your tsukumo enough with the cogs, and as soon as you get them, well, yes, have a little dip and feel not just refreshed, but stronger than you ever did before. Even if it means listening to either the most bored or relaxed man in the world when you go to organize them. After that, let's boogie on over to talismans. These are, of course, very helpful, very useful little boosts of skills. You could equip up to 5 of them or 50 power points worth of them, whichever happens first. That's all well and good, but how do you get them? Well, you can get them randomly dropped from Kemono hunts, that's nice, but very specifically, there is a handful of them dotted around each of the maps, hidden away in long forgotten corners and highest parkour peaks that are worth going to get. So keep an eye out. For example, in the very first map, you can go to the Big King Tuss final epic battle room. I shall call it the Big Sakura tree, and if you climb up the tree in the middle, there is a sword sticking into the ground, and that's what talismans that you pick up will look like. And this gave me the skill that essentially gives you 1 free extra life, i.e. you won't die when you otherwise would die to an attack if you're on the Kemono side of things with your armor. That's really nice, and definitely something to go after. There are a lot of these around the place, and if you upgrade your radar tower with this specific upgrade, it will put a load of question marks on your map, and while some of those question marks will be tsukumo and some will be little lore scrolls, they also can be talismans to pick up, so they're worth checking out as you walk past each and every one to grow your talisman collection. Alright then, ladies and gentlemen, that is about it. 5 handy but perhaps obscure tips that will do you well to know and have in your mind. Like if you have indeed enjoyed this, found it helpful, and subscribe for more Wild Hearts and all that goodness. Consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below too. It really does keep us going and it does mean the world. For now then, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.